This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Let's talk with Neal Atkinson from BetSaracen. Neal, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing fairly good. Anytime you can navigate Atlanta traffic and come out in one piece, I think I've made an accomplishment here today.
Well, I feel for you, man, because the big city traffic, no matter the big city, is never going to be a lot of fun to work your way through. But hopefully I'm sure you'll make it. You already have. And, man, that caught me by surprise. I was looking on the specials on BetSaracen, and I see 2024 NFL draft. But, that's got to go along with the start of the college football season, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I tell other people all the time, there's two seasons here in the South, football season and waiting on football season. And thankfully, we're going to get some real football going on here this weekend. And it's just my favorite time of year. Now, the only thing about this weekend is I just wish we had a little bit of football weather right now. It's kind of what we need, especially with all the kids playing out in the high school games and things of that nature. And it's going to be a hot one, but I'm telling people the only thing hotter than the weather is going to be on this weekend is the betting action that we expect to see on BetSaracen for Week 0 of college football.
I was just looking down the list at some of the SEC leaders last year, and do y'all have individual, like are y'all doing like KJ Jefferson numbers or receiver numbers and touchdown numbers?
Yeah, if you'll go to the special tabs, we actually have the double R special tabs, and those are season-long props. Now, we're going to put out probably on Monday, after the dust settles from the weekends, we'll put out the Western Carolina props. I'm trying to make it a decision here whether or not I'm only going to do those props for the game just for the first half, for the first two quarters, versus the entire game, because there is some anticipation that, maybe not all the starters will be playing the second half. We don't know that yet, but just based on the level of competition that Arkansas is playing on their season opener, we may modify those just for first half stats, just so we can, make the odds and the pricing better for the sports bettor.
Neal, it looks like the odds on the money line have changed a little bit for Arkansas's over-under win total. And just judging by what I see here, minus 160 for over 6.5, plus 130 under 6.5. The money's on Arkansas to go over 6.5 wins. I don't blame him for thinking that way, but this is also this. When did these odds start changing?
They probably started changing about 2 weeks ago. The lines start moving a little bit when they start reporting to camp and getting closer to the games. People start dialing in. You start learning more about where the injury situations is. And things of that nature. So, those lines are moving a little bit. Now, some of the lines that are moved is you see them move towards Arkansas favor because, everybody right now has the same record in college football for the most part. And a lot of the fans are eager to bet. And a lot of people don't like betting the under on their team, especially on season wins and things of that nature. So, those lines are moving where the money is coming in, and that's what's moving the lines now on those particular markets.
That being said, that's a good point, Neal. And Phil and I, we were kind of talking about, what are you going to do the last couple of weeks that talk college football? And looking around the country, are there some other teams that maybe take Florida in the under? Or do y'all put the over-under on every team in the SEC?
Yeah, we've got a lot of the futures. We have total wins on just about every Power 5 conference team that's out there, and right now is the time that you want to lock in on those numbers, based on which way that you want to go, because I've talked about it with you before. I may have it on by the end of the next week, right before next weekend. If not, it will be on the week after. We're going to turn on our beta version of our marketplace to where if you make a future bet and the odds change to your favor for that bet, you can list it on the marketplace and sell that bet for whatever you think you can get for it if somebody will pick it up. And conversely, you can go on the marketplace and see if somebody's priced something as a value that you may want to pick up. And that's going to give people liquidity on their future bets, and they don't have to wait till the end of the season for that bet to settle.
Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Southern California with the best odds on BetSaracen on the money line for making the college football playoff. Don't see Alabama on that list. It makes it a little bit different than usual. It feels like it's more up in the air this year, doesn't it?
Well, I think most Arkansas fans don't mind seeing that. Maybe pretty soon we can replace that A for Alabama with the real A for Arkansas and up here at the top. So, I think everybody's got Alabama fatigue over the years. Everybody knows that I'm a Tennessee fan, and believe me, until last year I had almost 20 years worth of fatigue with Alabama. So it's nice seeing the parity, and I think that goes to show you the effect of NIL and the transfer portal has. It's getting even more interesting, and then next year with the expanded playoffs and the conference realignments, college football is going to look different here in the very near future. It already is.
Well, yeah, it really does. It already does look different. But, yeah, this is the last year where college football will have a little bit of that similar look to previously. And I just checked on the BetSaracen app. The over-under in Alabama is 10.5, and the money's coming in heavy on under 10.5.
Yep.
That's just so rare to see those sort of expectations. 10 wins. We would be really happy with 10 wins here. Over in Alabama, much different, and they're a little bit they're skeptical.
Neal, are you getting any action already? Well, I guess maybe it's not up, but that Alabama-Texas game week 2 and what Phil's talking about, that under for 10.5, that could be a big-time matchup right there.
Oh, yeah, that absolutely is a big-time matchup. I mean, next weekend, the Florida State LSU one is the one that I'm really looking hard at. LSU stumbled out of the gate last year, and then, they became relevant at the end of the season. That one right there is a make or break for LSU on this season, and it's basically the first game of the season.
College basketball futures arrive too. We don't start the season until November, so we're a little more than 2 months away. But you guys had your preseason stuff up for college football 2 months before the football season started, so it's right about on time.
Yeah.
Hogs are plus 750 to make the Final Four, plus 400 to win the SEC regular season. It's pretty good odds. But it's just a sign that college basketball is not too far away either.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the end of October and November is a special time with the sports book because, depending on how long the World Series are going, I mean, we could have almost everything in play for a couple of days, all the major sports. The only other time that really happened was during COVID, and I never want to see that again. It's incredible what I'm anticipating to happen this fall, and I'm interested to see what kind of betting action is going to be on the NBA midseason tournament. That one fascinates me, and I think that's a great opportunity from a bookmaker's view of spurring a lot of interest when typically the time of year all the interest is on football with the NFL and the bowl games.
Got to ask about what. Go ahead, Matt. You got something?
Well, how about that first game of the year, Neal? That Notre Dame Navy game over there in Ireland. Are you prepared for that?
We're pretty much prepared for it. Anytime it's the first game of the season, because it's very, very sophisticated for all of these markets that we're mapping. I'm being told I'm supposed to have flash bets up for the Notre Dame game tomorrow. It will be the first time we have done flash bets on college football. We may not populate all of the flash bet markets just to make sure everything is working 100% as intended. Those flash bets are extremely complicated because we have to make sure those odds populate, and then we have to be able to score them basically before the next play. And I've got to make sure those feeds are working as intended. I was told, we're all ready for it, and then, of course, at the last minute, you always find one little technical thing. And I've got people working overnight to make sure and run a couple of more simulation tests to make sure we're ready for that game tomorrow. Hopefully we do not fumble, but my tech guys have always gotten me over the finish line with BetSaracen. I don't see why they won't do it tomorrow. But like you said, there's no guarantees in sports betting when you're dealing with this technology, and it's the first time you're doing it on your platform. You always, it's always a nail biter for me. It's sort of like a nail biter for somebody getting ready to hit the game-winning field goal or cover the spread.
Yeah, I always want to feel when you turn things on, you want it to work. But your app works.
Yeah.
It works on the web browser. Is there a difference in experience, the user experience, between either the mobile app or if you use BetSaracen on the web browsers?
Not really. It's more of a personal preference. Now, really, the performance of the app and the performance of on your web browser is primarily dependent on your internet connection. And, if you have high-speed internet and you're at a desktop and you're at a static IP address, that's the address that where you are on the internet, and you're not on any VPN, the experience on a laptop can be extremely fast. But only about 5% of all of the bets made on BetSaracen are made on a laptop. The rest of it is on iPhones and Android devices. And to me, a lot of people tell me sometimes it's easier for them to make the bet on the app because they can do it with one thumb. They know they get muscle memory. They can hit the bet slip, put their total in, and get their bet in pretty quick. It's incredible to see how fast somebody can navigate through these screens once they played with it around a little bit.
Last thing, text out of the 479 asks, does win total count bowl games if you're doing an over-under for preseason?
No, it is regular season only unless it's designated elsewhere. So all the win totals are for regular season games only. And then we also have a separate market for SEC win totals. So make sure you check that. And here is my biggest number one public service announcement for sports bettors. There is a market out there called Anytime Touchdown. And a lot of quarterbacks fall in that area. That's if they have a rushing touchdown or if they do a trick play and catch the touchdown. Remember, the touchdown goes to the person who crosses the goal line or catches the ball in the end zone, not the person who throws it. That's the most common mistake that we get, especially with newer sports bettors and at the first couple of games of the season, is that anytime touchdown market. It's the one who physically scores it, not the one who throws it or hands it off.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.